To build anything that truly lasts, it takes time.
Attention right now to the Prime Minister's foreign policy engagements. He was at the BRICS Summit just some time ago, where he sent out a strong message to Pakistan and their backers. The summit is taking place in Brazil. At the BRICS Summit, Prime Minister Modi put the focus on how terrorism remains one of the most serious challenges facing humanity and urged all the BRICS nations to come together to work towards eliminating terror and take action against their supporters. At the session, which was titled on peace and security and reform of global governance during the BRICS Summit, the Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, reiterated India's commitment to the values of peace as well as brotherhood. Let's also take you through some of the key highlights of the message that the Prime Minister was sending out. One, of course, is that there would be no double standards on terrorism. He said that terrorism remains among the most serious challenges facing humanity. The other key highlight was, and he said that India faced an inhuman and cowardly terror attack in Pahalgam on the 22nd of April this year. He also said that the terrorist attack in Pahalgam was an attack on all of humanity. He added on, saying that BRICS must adopt clear and a unified stance on overcoming terrorism. He also said that on a subject like terror, there's absolutely no room for double standards. He also said that there must be absolutely no hesitation in imposing sanctions on terrorists. He also added that one cannot weigh victims and supporters of terrorism on the same scale. He also claimed that there is silent support to terrorism for political interests, and this is absolutely unacceptable. Now, the Ministry of External Affairs held a detailed briefing on the discussions that were held during the BRICS Summit, while emphasizing on Prime Minister's message at the BRICS Summit to combat terrorism. Let's, in fact, also take you through what the MEA said.
On the session on peace and security, Honorable Prime Minister underlined that terrorism was a grave threat facing humanity. In this context, he noted that all the leaders have condemned Pahalgam terrorist attack in strongest terms. He underlined that the attack, the Pahalgam attack, terror attack, is an onslaught on the entire humanity. He also noted that those funding, promoting and providing safe havens to terrorists must be dealt with in the harshest terms.
Now, the Prime Minister's message gave this all-encompassing signal on combating any form of terror, and the Prime Minister made it absolutely clear that there's no room for double standards whatsoever. Shortly after the Prime Minister's message, the BRICS issued a joint statement where it condemned the Pahalgam attack in the strongest terms. Here's what BRICS mentioned in the joint statement that was released, that they express strong condemnation of any acts of terror. They condemn in strongest terms the terror attack in Jammu and Kashmir, which was, of course, a reference to Pahalgam. They reaffirmed their commitment to combating all forms of terrorism, that terrorism cannot be associated with any religion or civilization. They also urged to ensure zero tolerance as well as reject double standards when it came to terrorism, and also called for the adoption of Convention on Terror in the United Nations framework. This was some of the key takeaways from the joint statement issued by BRICS. Let me take this across to my colleague Srinjoy Chaudhary as well, who's been keeping a very close eye on the interactions that have been taking place at the BRICS Summit. Srinjoy, what are some of the key takeaways? In fact, at the beginning of the summit, what is it that India would have expected in that joint statement, and has all of that materialized?
Pahalgam was certainly on the agenda right from the beginning, and what has come out is clearly what was widely expected. Even before the BRICS began, you had the Sherpa, Mr. Damu Ravi, say that there is a statement on terrorism and India has been part of it and India finds it entirely acceptable. So it was clearly acceptable to India, and this was something that was expected by not India but everybody. The important point was Pahalgam had to be mentioned, terrorism had to be mentioned, and this was also a message to China. Xi Jinping was not there, but other top Chinese officials were there. And the point that Pahalgam happened because the people who were trained, armed and financed were by people in POK and Pakistan was a point that can be read between the lines. So very clearly this BRICS session so far has been a triumph for India.